And then next time I will not come while I'm going to attend a funeral or some other thing. I'll just come to stay the whole day or even night. Just hang out here, listen to people, get to know each other. Every time I get out, every time I sit here, I get to know many of you individually. Like now, I have now known Salome very well, and we have got a plan here. Next time we are in Naivasha, tutafanya baraza alafu tuende kijiji. Na vile mnajua, mimi ni mtu wa kwenda huko mahali mambo iko huko. Sababu so wale ambao wanasema I'm technocratic, I will not campaign, tukutane kwa kiwanja. Tukutane huko. I will wear my sketchers and I will go to every village in this country, talking to Kenyans and seeking their vote and their support so that we can change our country. So, business number one, in line with the decision of the National Delegates Conference of Jubilee last Friday, let us now begin massive registration in Jubilee. Let us revive our membership in Jubilee. And if you listen to the party leader very carefully last week, he said he's handing over the party to young people, to you people. Now, when elections of this party are called, honestly speaking, I pray, Jehovah, that we get to a point where 2/3 of our people in NEC and all dealers are you, young people. And you are not going to contest those seats if you are not a member. Let us register massively in Jubilee and be ready when elections are held. We started this by the Occupy movement, Occupy Parliament, Occupy. Now let us literally occupy leadership by taking up these positions and being there to make decisions on behalf of our people and to ensure that we support our country. So I am very happy about the number of fellow aspirants who are here. When we come next time, if we are 500, I'd also like to have a separate meeting with the aspirants so that we also discuss our own things. Vile tutakuja kusaidiana kwa sababu I'm seeking presidency, but if you are looking for a parliamentary seat, a governor seat like Cairo, my brother Danny here, and those of you who are seeking, MCA seats, we form a partnership where we work together and support each other as we go forward. So that's what we are going to do. So tuzungumze na watu. This is a time to talk to fellow Kenyans and plead with them that it is within us. We have the capacity to change our country ourselves. We don't need anybody to come from anywhere. Look, I can share with you a very simple experiences. Every ministry I went to, I meet members of the public who always tell me, the troubles of digital migration and we finally migrated, or the troubles of sorting out examination cheating. Every time I went to some of these departments, people told me, I was in Jogo with Zach, people told me, examination cheating is so entrenched in this country. It is a billions industry, people pay money and so on. I said, I will go there and sort it out. That is why I'm being paid. Na tena si eti kufanya kazi na nusu hivi hiyo style as normally say ya kukaa huko kukunywa chai na mandazi. No. Doing the work myself. Kama ni kufungua container, niko hapa. I opened a container here in Kambiamoto at 3 a.m. in the morning, and even the school principals were shocked. I was there at 3 a.m. in the morning, and I did about 10-15 schools across here, making sure that the right thing is done for our children. When there was a problem here in Subukia, I arrived here. We drove right to the middle of the informal settlement area and got to a point where we couldn't even drive because vehicles could not go through. The pathways are very narrow. I told Matiang'I and Kinoti and Kanja, who was the GSU commandant, now the Inspector General of Police, to tembe na mguu because wananchi wanatembeanga hapa na mguu, and they are the ones we lead. Sasa tutembe. Twende. I went to that bishop's house whose daughter had been unfortunately raped by those thugs, and so on. Then I asked Mutiambai that time, give me a police officer who's famous for delivery. Because tuache mchezo, hii wananchi wanataka tufanye kazi. Give me a guy who's famous for delivery. Now watu tuonane. Because we are here, tunalipwa mshahara so that the wananchi live peacefully and go about their activities. Hawezi kutulipa mshahara na napiga story kila siku ni kuambia watu ma story and so on. And we sorted the problem out. I want to give, in this country, there is no challenge we face that we cannot address. there is no problem we face that we cannot resolve ourselves. Hii shida mnaona hapa ya capitation which we have been talking about, out with the resources that we have, and you can see the nonsense that is going on. We have managed to rotate around villages giving people money for empowerment and bribing people, but we don't have money to take to schools for our children. Unashangaa, how do we think? How do we arrive at solutions? And hii mchezo tuwache, and this thing can be sorted out. Because people expect that if we are in leadership, we are there to find solutions to the problems that are there. Lakini tutakaa pamoja na tutatafuta hii kwa heshima, kwa unyenyekevu na kwenda mbele pamoja. So that our friends, even those ones who are in leadership, understand our problems have nothing to do with, we are not dealing with them as individuals. We are saying this, you have failed to manage. Give us the opportunity, we manage. That's all we are saying. Amana mnagani? Yeah, you have failed to manage. Give us the opportunity to manage. And we are promising we will manage better. Number two, tafadhali, let us now drive the voter registration. I agree with what Maju said. Tunaweza kuongea hii maneno kuanzia sasa, kesho kutwa, but if you don't have your vote, you know, the voters in Botswana achieved their dream through the vote. The voters in Malawi have achieved their dream through their vote. Ile itatusaidia because we are a democracy. Ni kura yetu. Sababu hiyo ndio namna ya kuwaweka viongozi ama kuwatoa viongozi. Kwa hivyo tafadhali, tufanye kila tuwezalo kuhakikisha kwamba we have registered to vote. I'm told, nimekaa hapa, I've already been told by young people here that IBC is having single registration centers in the constituencies. I am going to make proposals to your leaders, Dan, on how we are going to do this. And even we in Jubilee will find a way of providing support to this. Because I believe in this. Let us not whine and moan. Let us find solutions. You know, one great leader said, don't agonize, organize. Yeah, don't agonize, organize. Tujipange kwa haya maneno. Na tunaweza kujipanga, tuongee na wale wa IBC, na mobilize vijana in one center, 2,000, 3,000, watu wa IBC wanakuja hapo, wana register the whole day. Even if it's a single registration point, akienda from center to center, na sisi we participate and help in mobilizing, we'll get the votes and the numbers that we require. So that tusiwe victims, wa kusema tu hawajakuja kwetu, wako mbali. We can work on a program, especially the aspirants who are here, we can work on a program that is facilitating the registration process so that we register many of us as voters. Because let us not complain and blame them. Let us support them to ensure that this is done, because ultimately that is how we will sort out our country. However, there is also something I've heard about ID cards. There are places where people have no ID cards and so on. I will work with the leaders of Jubilee and the leaders of the opposition. We will review that situation in the country. Ikishindikana kama ni Kiswahili nafanywa, people are denied ID cards so that they don't register to vote. We will organize one day, tutajipanga. Yeah. We will organize one day. I mean, people are not going to play this kind of silly games and go on with it. Yeah. We will organize. People must understand one thing. Kenyans have come to a point where they want to manage their country and they would like their country to be managed sensibly. So those funny games that are being done of registering, I don't know who, and then people every time are making trips to administration centers and they're being told funny stories like, oh, your ID has not come. I mean, tafadhali, kwani ID inatolewa mbinguni? Leo lazima uende kukucha. Hapana bwana. We organize. First of all, the first step is to be orderly, to be focused and respect the institutions. Step 2 is to push to ensure the right thing is done. But step 3, we should not lose our responsibility to demand and force things to be done the right way. Yeah. Kwa hivyo tutakaa chini na wale viongozi wengine wote. Tukubaliane, tukiona kama hii ni game inachezwa namna hiyo na mchezo wa kuhakikisha kwamba people don't get IDs, tutajua vile hata sisi tutafanya. Because that is it. wake up siku moja tutajua vile tutafanya na tutatangaza. Because you see, hatuwezi kupelekwa hivi eti kwa sababu unataka, you want to ensure that these young people don't vote because you know they will not vote for you. So you want to make sure that they don't get ID cards, and you keep lying and pretending about it. You know, there are things that people talk about these countries that amaze me. You know, how can you talk about printers and they don't know what paper in Kenya 62 years after independence? Unajua hata ujinga unahitaji kuheshimu common sense. Honestly. So acha tufuate sheria vile iko. Tuende step ya kwanza, because we want to be responsible citizens. Tufuate sheria vile iko. Step ya kwanza sisi tuende tutafute vile tunaambiwa. Step ya pili tutumie structures zile ziko to ask the right questions as law abiding citizens. Lakini ikifika step ya tatu kama ni mchezo, sasa surely tutakaa tukichezewa namna hiyo? Hapana. Lazima tutajua namna ya kuendelea mbele. Thirdly, nakubaliana wewe, tuheshimiane. That is it, tuheshimiane. Wafanye kazi ya uongozi na sisi tufanye kazi kama wananchi. Yeah, and the responsible citizens, sisi tulipe kodi, tufuate sheria, tuweke amani, hiyo ndio kazi yetu. Lakini hawezi kuwa eti tufuate sheria na wao ni kutuchezea. Kutufanya kana kwamba watu ni wajinga, eti kwanza kutumia lugha nyingine hapo eti hatuna kitambulisho. Pesa inatoka wapi ya kuonga watu kila wakati in the form of empowerment? Hakuna pesa ya kuprint kitambulisho. Nyinyi hamjaona watu wakiongwa hapa? Eti empowerment. Inatoka wapi pesa ya kuonga watu kila wakati? Hakuna pesa ya kutengeneza kitambulisho. Kwani mnafikiri wananchi sisi ni wajinga hivyo kweli? Hapana. Hapana. Hiyo tunawaambia na waelewe, tutafuata sheria, lakini lazima ifike mahali tutasema sasa hapa mahali imefika, tuheshimiane. Yeah, these are our rights, and we will enforce and demand our rights as we go forward. We are going to be on this trail. Nawaomba vijana. Now, let us mobilize. This is the time to mobilize and ensure that our message goes across to the country. I am happy about all the comments that you have given me. My brother, your comments about our presence in social media, I take it in my stride. And that's why I love meetings like this, because you get accurate, reliable, honest feedback. That's why we are a democracy. That's why we chose democracy. That you know, we talk to each other and respect each other as citizens of this country. Kwa hivyo, ndugu zangu na dada, sasa ni wakati wa kwenda kwa hii safari ya kubadilisha nchi yetu. Na safari hii tunaenda inahitaji tushirikiane sisi wote bila kujali kabila, mahali unatoka. You know, when my friend Rotich spoke here from the Ogiek community, you know, I keep saying this honestly, and God in heaven will hear us. I would like to wake up one morning and my president is a guy from the Ogiek community. Or my president is a guy from Samburu, Marsabit, or Rendile, or Pokomo, you know, or Michikenda. Not a question of saying they must come from a particular community because of numerical numbers and strength and so on. You guys have taught all of us a lesson, and you are now redefining Kenya anew. And I agree with your definition of Kenya, that it should be a country where tribe is not an issue. What is important is delivery of services. You know, that people give you a job and you do the job. I ask this question every time. When you are sick, you go to hospital here, umebebwa hapa na gari, labda ambulance. Ukifika pale kwa board, unaanza kuangalia daktari wa kabila yetu wako kwa duty kwanza kabla sijaingia huko. Jamani, hii ni kasumba ya uzee ya zamani. This is not going to help us at all. The one and only one reason why I fought so hard on cleaning up our exam system is because I wanted fairness and objectivity. I've told this story before. I went to a parents' day in one of our girls' schools. And always I used to ask the school principals, please let the children speak, because now this is also about voice. Let us not develop a situation where we raise our children not to speak to us. All the time ni sisi tunaongea, tunakucha hapa watu wakubwa pere, watu wa siasa, then tunaenda. we should also hear what these children are thinking, because they also have thoughts. They are growing up. And one young girl, I think a Form 3 student in that school, asked me a question, very strong question. Said, Minister, you know, we work very hard. Some of the courses we're interested in the universities have got very few places. People from some schools pay money, and they are the ones who get the A's and the A minuses. By the time the selection happens to universities, those courses are all filled by people from those particular schools who are able to pay for exams and so on. That was one of our children challenging us. You know, honestly speaking, that really pricked my heart. And I said to Mefika Hapa, now our children are asking us what is wrong with us, essentially. I told her, my daughter, I promise you, I will do everything the Lord will enable me to do to ensure this nonsense is sorted out once and for all. And actually, that is the same promise I can give you, young people. If you gave me the opportunity, if I was so lucky and so privileged to win your favor and your vote and your support, to be your leader, I will do everything the Lord will enable me to do to ensure that some of these silly things you see around here don't happen in our country. Because God has blessed us enough and given us enough capacity to live in a country where you are happy, you feel satisfied, you go about your activities, you grow your barethram, very happy about what that gentleman said about farming, and you engage in your farming activities and succeed. There is no reason why you should be disadvantaged on account of where you come from, on account of where you are born, on account of whether you are a boy or girl. Those types of things should not matter now. And let us go forward and work that way. Even us in the opposition, and a number of my colleagues, and I know people of Kenya have been wondering, you know, why are there a lot of arguments in the opposition and so on? I say, actually, for me, I look at them from a positive side. That you see, first we chose democracy, which means it's good to be in a country where you can choose to belong to a particular party and say that I am in Jubilee. My brother Zach here, who's seated here, is a member of PNU. And we are very, very good friends. I do not see anything in this world that will affect my friendship with Zach because he's in PNU, now I'm in Jubilee. And the other people who are in other parties, Kenyans. The more we are at the table when we come to discuss, the better. We build alignment and consensus, not because we have no differences. No, in spite of our differences. We will have differences of opinion, differences of perspectives, different ways of looking at things, but we sit together. If I took a survey here, some of you are Catholics, some of you are Protestants, some of you are Muslims. Why would that affect whether or not we are able to sit in one room and discuss the affairs of our country? So, to build even unity and cohesion within the opposition is going to take a lot of maturity, a lot of respect for everyone's view, because we chose democracy, because we are proud of our country, that you can actually belong to a party which has not been chosen for you by a particular leader, that you have chosen to belong to yourself, and that you will have the freedom to wake up on election day, walk to the polling station, go into the booth, and vote for a leader you choose yourself. Not someone to come and tell you, Salome, make sure you choose so and so. All these things are things we are proud of. And so even sometimes when you see arguments, disagreements and so on, they are fine. I look at them from a positive point of view. I like them. Because that is what describes who we have now become. That is democracy. And when they happen, we take them in our stride. Even you, I want to tell you, my younger brothers and sisters, when you go to your various areas where you stay, your sub-counties, your locations, you will meet people who have different views about life. people who belong to other parties. Your responsibility is to convince them, argue with them, and argue them to your point. Don't tell them, in this sub-county, you can't belong to this party, you must belong to this party, no, or else you don't belong here. Honestly, I want to be a responsible leader and avoid using negative adjectives to describe that kind of behavior. We chose democracy in our constitution, which means you have a right to choose your party, and no one has a right or responsibility to choose a party for you. And you have a right to associate with whomever you please, and no one has a right to choose your friends for you. And you also have a responsibility to talk to your brothers and sisters and convince them, because God has blessed us to be in this country, in this wonderful country. So I look at them positively. I'm very happy. And as we go forward, we will have mature conversations, responsibility in the way in which we handle each other and handle national affairs, knowing as we must that the necessity of the moment, the demand of our people, is real change and better leadership. And we should never, ever, ever allow anything to stand in the way of that destination, which we must go on behalf of the people of Kenya. So, my wonderful people, I love you so much, and I want to spend so much time with you. I want to ask you as leaders, unajua, kazi yoyote ukitaka kufanya, sio kazi unafanya tu nusu-nusu namna hii. Allow me to use an example that may not be very sensitive, but it's a reality of life. Unajua, even when you are dating, tafuta msichana, huwezi kukutana na yeye mara moja kwa wiki, and then you hope that that is the way you are going to succeed. Mara mna gani? Lazima ukakae hapo, mara mna gani bwana? Wana hivyo wanasema. Lazima ukakae hapo, mvua ikinyesha unaonekana uko hapo. Wanasema unampatia ka jacket wakati mvua imenyesha. Unajua mahali ka ice cream kanapatikananga. Unaimba manyimbo fulani hivi. Andika tu poems fulani hapo. Nasema maneno hapo na quote vitu hapo, ingine inaweza kuwa si ya kweli lakini ya kukusaidia uende mbele. So, mnajua hii maneno. Hata mimi nataka kuwa namna hiyo. Ninataka kukaa tu hapa, mkinipangia mambo yangu, tunatembea hapa na kina Salome hivi. Angel ndio wananionyesha vile hii dunia iko. Alafu tupange maneno, tukifika wakati huo tuko tayari. Maana mna gani? Basi tutarudi siku nyingine done. Alafu tukaa hapa, tutaendelea kudance. Na vitu kama hizo, sababu inaonekana hiyo ndio kitu hiyo hata mimi ambaye sikuzoea hiyo maneno huko mbeleni, nimeanza kuipenda siku hizi. Inaonekana ni kitu mzuri, sio kitu mbaya. Hiyo ni kitu mzuri sana. Ama namna gani? Namna hiyo. Sasa tutaongeza ingine kuendelea mbele. Ujuzi upatikanangi baada ya siku moja ama mbili. Ama namna gani madam? Amesema hivyo. Sema ujuzi unakuzwa. So I wish you all the best. We'll meet again. Please, we love our country so much not to allow any divisions or any distractions and so on. Let us register now in Jubilee. As the NDC decided, massive registration. You are the grassroots leaders. Let us drive the registration now to Jubilee. Prepare ourselves for elections of the party. And I want to assure you, I want to earn your support. I'll work with you. Mimi nitaingia kwa kila kijiji na ninakuja kuwaomba kwanza kula ya Jubilee mkubali niwe candidate wenu, nitakuja. Sababu nyinyi ndio members ndio mnasema. Mimi sitaki eti tuende kufanya mchezo hapa na pale eti mtu afikiri eti mimi ni goigoi mtu wa kulalala huko kupewa vitu. Mimi nitakuja tukaa na nyinyi, munipange vizuri na nyinyi tupangane, tukubaliane. I like what that good man said. We need to agree even what we are going to do together. By the way, what you said is not negative. But we need to even agree kwa MOU itakuwa namna gani. What kind of government are we going to form? sieti nikuje kujifanya hapa, alafu ikifika wakati huo serikali nusu ni wazee and so on. Hapana, tunakubaliana hapa hii kaunti zetu zile tutarani Cairo, kama tunapata governor, what kind of management we are going to have as a party. Sisi tunasema Jubilee ni chama ya vijana, and it must be reflected in the character and in the structure and the leadership profile that emerges from this exercise as we go forward. Tusiwe watu wa kusema maneno ya uongo. Tutaenda mbele namna hiyo. Mimi nitakuja niwaombe kula kwanza ya Jubilee nisaidie siku ile ya nomination, nipate nomination yenu rasmi as your candidate. Alafu hiyo ya mbele si tutaenda na nyinyi pamoja. Na tukiwa tuko pamoja kwa hiyo kitu tunaweza kushindwa kweli? Bana, kwanza nyinyi mna deni. Sawa, nyinyi ndio mliniita nikawacha kazi yangu mzuri nikakuja huku. Sasa msiniambie eti mliniita nikakuja hapa kupoteza mbao ama namna gani? Haya, sawa. God bless you.
On matters Jubilee as a party, it's very important also to know that even in politics, quite frankly, we work within structures and frameworks that have been set out in the various institutions we work with. The NDC took place last week. The party leader and the leaders of Jubilee expressed themselves very well. A new changed constitution or amended constitution was approved. A new framework of refarming the party was approved. A process of registering new members now has begun. That's why I'm actually meeting some of these Jubilee grassroots youth mobilizers to begin now a drive of registering new members in Jubilee and expanding Jubilee at the grassroots level. Then the process, I think, will be followed by organization of the party as we go forward. I don't want to put the cart before the horse about the decisions. Okay, there seems to be an issue. Yeah, I don't want to put. Are you okay?
Yes.
Okay. As I said, I don't want to put the cart before the horse on that particular matter in terms of what is going to happen next. The party has got all its organs in place. The special NDC was the beginning of that process. Several activities will take place: recruitment, refarming of the party, reorganization, and then the process of choosing a presidential candidate will happen in the party. What I am doing myself is campaigning among as members of Jubilee, because you'll have to be nominated first of all by the members of the party. And I'm talking to the members of Jubilee at the grassroots level. I have started this. This is the first of a series of 47 such meetings I'm going to have across the country. I'm going to meet Jubilee members in every county in Kenya. Go to every villages where I can find members of Jubilee. As I encourage them to register, I also ask them to consider me for the formal and official nomination when they nominate their candidates, including their candidate for the presidential contest. So that's what I can say at the moment. And you can see the work has begun. That's what the NDC said last week, and that's exactly what we are doing. On the issue of the opposition, you know, I want to go over this very carefully, because, you know, electoral contests and the transition that we are going to as a country is also a leadership moment, which requires a lot of restraint, a lot of maturity, a lot of consultation and inclusion. Building unity and cohesion in a political framework takes time. It's not an easy matter. If you reflect, for those of you who are here, President Mwai Kibaki, Charity Ngilu, the late Michael Wamalwa Kijana, Mheshimiwa Raila Odinga, and all those who are involved in forming NAC, it just didn't happen suddenly. It took time. It's a long and painstaking exercise of building alignment of visions, alignment of perspectives, convincing one another, and building cohesion and bringing people together. These matters are weighty issues. You're talking about the leadership of the nation, individuals and parties and groups that come from diverse backgrounds, that sit down over long periods of time to argue and even harmonize their perspectives to get to a point where they say, okay, this is the platform now we have agreed on, and this is the way we are going to go forward, and this is how our team is going to look like. Okay. So that patience that is required is exactly required now. You know, I've said in other environments before that our patience will be tested. Our perseverance will be tested. Our sense of patriotism will be tested. But we must overcome those temptations and work together, because the people of Kenya expect that their leaders will work together. So I don't want to go into, because the infrastructure we have in the opposition is already actually laid out. We have two conveners of the team, Honorable Martha Karua and Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka. We have an official spokesperson who heads the secretaries now, the Honorable Dr. Muhisa Kitui. And then the other structures that already have been set up, the Honorable Kipruto Kirwa heads the coalition building committee, and he has drawn in a lot of other people and leaders from other walks of life. It's an institution, so we have to act in an institutionalized manner. So one thing I will not do, to be frank with you, is I cannot speak on the sidelines of that infrastructure when I do not have the authority of the conveners or the authority of the spokesperson to address certain matters. Sure. And these leaders, at the right time, will address these issues. But everyone knows this, and I'll point this out. This is a journey that we are walking, and this is what will test our political maturity. It will test our leadership skills, our sense of inclusion, and our patience. And for us used here to include people like myself who are interested in national leadership, I'm willing to be as patient as time and the Lord will allow, and stay the course, work with the people of Kenya, and make my contribution and be a leader. So I wouldn't jump at things or make conclusions or speak about this or that. The arguments you see are actually good if you look at them from a positive point of view. Just imagine if we were in a country where the thinking of one person rules the day and is the way everyone goes. Fortunately, and thank God, we chose democracy, and because we are a democratic environment, no leader can choose a party for another leader, and no leader can choose a leader for the people of Kenya. So it's a democratic process that is going on. It will get us time to get there, all of us, but we will get there. I mean, have no fear at all. I have faith, I'm confident we will get there. And we will deal with this with the requisite maturity, the requisite discipline, sense of restraint, and respect for each other's opinions. Because that is the only way we are going to build Kenya. There is never going to be a time we will not have differences of opinion. Because look at the diversity of our country. And that diversity, even political diversity, is itself actually a huge plus for us. That's where we are Kenya. That's where we are in this wonderful country. We are blessed to be here. We have this country where a multiplicity of political perspectives exist. And from time to time, we will have differences of opinions, then arguments, then we will sit around the table and call each other together, speak to each other as brothers and sisters, resolve them, and identify the development challenges we have to face and do for our people. So I'm optimistic we'll be fine, and all will be well. Yes. God bless you. Thank you. Thank you.